Hi, good day. This is Dan Okek. So let's walk through personality. Now, when I keep talking about personality, I think most of us just get to understand is practically making a bot more custom, which is the not shell of the whole thing. We're trying to make our bots more custom. So instead of creating bots that are coming from different locations, using different process servers, coming off from different user agents, we'll try to stabilize it, or we'll try to categorize it. So a particular proxy would only use a particular bot would only use a particular proxy and a particular cookie and a particular user agent. And I will tell you the concept behind this. So let me give you a very quick walk story on Google. Now, Google is so smart that their AI, which is the artificial intelligence, tries to understand each person that uses their service. As funny as it sounds, most times you're on Google and the thing you've been thinking of suddenly pops up, and you're wondering how come they're able to know what you're thinking next. Now that is because they've studied you with a whole lot of metadata that they can now make precise or close to precise predictions of what you might be interested in, or what you might be engaged in at a particular point in time. This simply means if Google is able to understand personality or understand what you might want to, they will definitely be taking some data from you, and these data are not something they just pick up immediately. They're data that they get to pick up after a long period of time. So this simply means if you create a new Google account today, Google might not really have any data on you. They'll just give you random ads. You get to see random things. Now after a while, Google start categorizing you you know as a particular entity or a particular human, with particular interests. Now, me, for instance, whenever I'm online, I often see video related to programming, or video related to real estate, or video related to business, because I'm a business person. That is because over the years, I've been doing more of research on programming related stuff, real estate related stuff, business related stuff. Now, this simply means that even if I visit your website and your website is talking about shoes or bags, Google would likely still show me advertisements that are related to my niche or what I love most, which is business, real estate, or software programming. Now, this simply means that you might be creating a content, or your website might be about a particular content, but Google would still show them adverts related to your content. But most importantly, Google would show them adverts that they think would interest them, which is based on their history with them. So this simply means my history with Google has been more of software programming, has been more of real estate, has been more of business. So even if I come to your website that talks about insurance or cryptocurrency or maybe one high CPC, Google would show me more advertisements regarding what they know I would be interested in. And that's simply why if you also go to Google, you would see stuff like not interested in these ads. Report, maybe you're telling Google these ads I'm not interested in it, and Google probably asks you why. Is it that it doesn't relate to you, you're not interested in it because you don't have stuff like that? So Google tries to engage more with their prospective audience. Now you've actually learned this, you have kept this in mind, you should now start understanding that your bot has your bot needs to have a certain personality that Google can look up to, because virtually every single bot I've been seeing other people create are bots with that personality. Bots that will just come online, open up your website, and click on it. Now, if you really know how smart Google is, you know that Google has been fighting this ad fraud. It's actually called ad click fraud, where people click on their adverts fraudulently, or try to use bots or any means to click on ads fraudulently. Now, Google has been trying to fight this for a very long time, and they've been able to come up with ways of detecting those casual your bot opens up, it clicks on an advert. So that doesn't work anymore. I'll teach you what simply works well. That is having a bot that will be able to start having a rapport with Google. So let us start with the most important one on this phase, which is building up our personality. Now on this code here, which is personality.js, you can clearly see what we did. We simply just created a class called person. Now this class has what we call a constructor, but that will not really be important if you don't know how to program. In a nutshell, we have created a code that is called person, and this code, before this code to work, it will have to require certain things. To have to require things like where you want the code to be showing is coming from. Okay, let me make it easier. We created a code called person. This code will be used to make bots, right? Now, before we can make any bots, there are certain requirements a bot would need, such as what location is this bot going to be showing is coming from. So if the bot is coming to a website or visiting a YouTube channel, what location is it going to be coming from? So that location is simply the process server is going to be using, and that is the first one. The second one is time zone. Now, if you watch the previous episode I talked about on personality, I told you one of the easiest way Google gets to spot fake traffic is when your time zone doesn't reflect, your process server. So I'm currently in Nigeria. I'm using a US IP address, but while using a US IP address, my time zone is actually showing I'm from West Africa. So this simply means that disparity in information, and their AI system has been trained, not just even Google, the average banking website, the average finance website where you make your transactions will tell you you're using a VPN. So the easiest way every website detects a VPN is they check your time zone and then they check your process server. So in order to make sure we don't go into that particular detection, we have to set a custom time zone that will run with our processor, which is our IP location. Now, this other one is email and name. Now, I love having my email and name stored on the website because the way we create the bot, after a while we create bot that will go as far as signing up on websites, doing normal activities. So I, for instance, I am Mr. Dano Okichiku and my email is danokek@gmail.com. So I store this stuff on my bots, and they make my bot to be intelligent enough to be able to fill forms once in a while. That is because Google tracks normal activities. That is the reason why your bots are always being caught. That is because aside clicking on advert, your bot does nothing else, and that is not how a normal human being works. And even if a normal human being works that way, they will still get banned. So let me explain. Now, all you simply do is come to your website or your YouTube channel, watch videos, and click on adverts. That is all you basically do with your process server, with your time zone, with your cookies. That is that all you want to do, clicking on adverts like every single day. Now you see how shady it is. It is obvious if you think about it outside of your grid. Like if you're thinking of, I'm going to be clicking on my ads every day and I'll be making this certain amount of money, it sounds reasonable. But when you now look it out from another perspective, now you're now looking at yourself at one point, okay, all this particular account does, which is a cookie, is to come online and click on a particular advert every day. Now there's what we call an activity tracker. So Google has already tracked that. All you simply do is to do this. It is now shady. It is the same thing as when you go to a website that sells traffic. The website that will tell you they sell traffic, you should pay certain amount of money. They will give you a lot of clicks and a lot of views. Now what these people often do is most times they have real human beings on this particular forum, and then you pay a particular amount of money. They start telling everybody on the group or on the forum to go and click on your adverts. Now, as funny as it sounds, real human beings are clicking on your adverts. They react to your website. They go through your content. They do normal things a human being do. They're using real process servers. They're using real IP address, like their mobile phone IP address, maybe their AT&T, T-Mobile, MTN, Airtel. They're using real IP address. They're using real time zone. They're using real time zone, real accounts, which is cookie, real everything. But yes, the Google will still suspend your Google Adsense account, and that is because Google has kept an activity track on them. All these people simply do is to just come to a website and to click on an advert. So Google gets to check how they react. These people, they don't browse, they don't read news, they don't watch YouTube videos, they don't actually search for things, they don't fill up form, don't they have problems? Don't they come to Google to search for what is this, what is that? Like, they don't actually do the things a normal human being would do. All they simply do is to, if you go to your Google account, you'll be able to see activity log. We're able to see all the activities you have done. Google has a more vast activity log that checks virtually every single thing you do. Now imagine where majority of your activities are clicking on advertisement. Now Google will just put you as what we call paid ads. So if you don't know what paid ads is when you pay people to click on your adverts. There are forums where people get paid, like you go there, you pay, then people will start clicking on your advert and then you make more money. Now, like I said, Google has had lots of errors and issues and problems with ad click fraud, where people are clicking on their adverts, or they're employing people to do it, or they're using bots. So Google already has a whole lot of information about what these people do in order to get clicks on their adverts. So you telling somebody to click on your adverts every day, telling a group of people to click on your advert every day, will still get you banned on Google AdSense, because they have nothing else they're doing aside clicking on ads. So part of why we have to keep a name and an email is to make our own bot to be very legit. So once in a while, it could do every single thing that a normal human being like us could do. This bot involves artificial intelligence. As we keep proceeding on the tutorial, I'll teach you where the artificial intelligence aspect comes in. So now the name and the email is to help you fill forms. Now you're going to see another one called the signature. like I said initially, how Google is able to detect who is from your logged in section. If I log into my YouTube account right now, I can export my cookie, which is export that my logged in section, put it on my bot. So whenever my bot opens up a website, that website will be, that website will open up, like it will open up the website as me. So I can give you a very short instance. I can log into Google right now or any website, export my cookie, put it on the bot, and when the bot opens that website, it will open it as me. I wish I could actually do this now, but I did it in phase 2, so I think basically you probably understood what I'm saying. Now if you have not watched phase 2 and phase 1, please go watch those tutorials. I talked about exporting of cookie. So we're going to be exporting the cookie, we'll be adding a cookie to the bot. Now we have our user agent. Now user agent is simply what it is. It is what device you're using to view this platform. So for instance, right now this is my iPhone 13 and I'm recording with my iPhone 14, and I still have an iPhone 13 around. So I have lots of iPhones. I think I also have a Samsung. I don't really use it, but each and every single one of these devices, if I open up a website, they tell the website their device. So for instance, I could open a website right now, it will tell me go to App Store to download our app. If I open that same website with my Samsung, it will tell me go to Google Play Store. If I open it with my Windows computer, it will tell me maybe go to Microsoft Store. And if I do that on my Mac, it will probably tell me go to App Store. So it simply means that each time a device opens a website, the website knows what device you're opening it from, and it's only because that device or that device you're browsing from would purely inform the other server that see who I am. Oh, I am an iPhone, or I am a Samsung, or I am a Windows computer, I'm a Linux computer. So your user agent is simply what device are we using at the moment. So it tells you both your browser and the device. So this simply means if we're creating a bot, we'll also have to create a user agent that will match. Now one of the biggest problem I think amateurs or people who are coming into creating bots often make, one of the biggest mistakes, is they export cookies on phone, they export cookies on computer and use them on phone. Like this is my iPhone 13, right? Now I use this my computer right now. I log into Google and I exported my Gmail cookie, right? And I've exported it, and now I'm now using I'm now using an iPhone user agent, right? But when I logged into my computer, Google has also some details on my logged in section, and it shows that I logged in using a Windows computer. Now if I export my cookie to this bot and set my user agent to be an iPhone with the screen ratio and everything, it's going to show that I'm logged in, but there is a particular glitch that we're not going to see. After a while, Google is able to detect, obviously, because the logged in session used to be an iPhone. So how come suddenly the login session used to be a Windows computer, so how come suddenly an iPhone is using it? Most times they will tell you to log in again because the device that you logged in with has changed. Like you logged in with a Windows computer, now we're not seeing that same login session on a Samsung. Something is wrong. They could tell you to log in again, but most of the times you just get easy access to it. Just that there are certain things you could want to do that it will not tell you to log in again. But in a nutshell, do not make that mistake as somebody creating a bot. Although you're learning my course, so I'll definitely teach you on how to do it the right way. Now Scream. This is another very big problem everybody makes, and this is simply why it is easier to catch people when they use traffic bots, because they don't really put all these things into consideration. I wouldn't really blame them. They're not security experts. I'm a security expert, cyber security expert, and I also have a master's degree in artificial intelligence, so I can tell you perfectly fine that every single detail means a whole lot. The advert Google will show you on your mobile phone is different from the advert Google will show you on your desktop computer. Now on your mobile phone, sometimes when you're watching an advert on your phone, you'll be seeing things like install this mobile game, install this game. But when you're watching same videos on a computer, nobody's telling you to install a game. That is because on your mobile phone, Google knows, or those people who advertise with Google has told Google that they want the advertisement to be shown only on mobile phones. Let's assume I created a wonderful game, or I created a fintech app that people would have to install on their phone. Now I've created this fintech app. I'm advertising with Google. I will not tell Google I want people who use Android or iPhone to see this advertisement. So when I do that advertisement, if you're a mobile phone, you see that advertisement on my fintech app. If you're on your computer, you won't see it. So this simply means that they are able to detect your mobile phones, but they don't just do it from, just like when I taught you something at phase 3 the beginning, verifying your location. You have your IP address and your time zone. Good. Another way to verify a user agent is through the screen resolution. So if my user agent, for instance, is showing iPhone and I'm still using a 4K display, maybe a ultra, let's say I'm using a monitor which is desktop kind of view, but my user agent is showing that it's an iPhone, it doesn't make sense. That is because once you say you're using an iPhone or user agent, they'll start providing content that would fit that iPhone. Now if your screen resolution is not that of the iPhone, you're already giving a subtle flag. Now these are things that took a whole lot of time to detect, so please keep that in mind. Your screen resolution have to match with your user agent. So this is why I tell people that, like when they message me and tell me, please can you do this for me, can you create a custom bot for me that will give me a lot of traffic, we share our earnings. I often tell you that creating my bot myself is even stressful because I have to make sure I go through a lot of user agents, match their screen resolution, check the particular places out to be going. Like, it's a whole lot of coding for me, so I can't actually imagine myself doing it for someone else, not to talk of I'm doing it for you and I'm taking 50% of the earnings. So in a nutshell, I'm going to work hard as much as I do for myself, getting to get my cookies exported, my user agents, check the screen resolution, get the privacy, the time zone, set every single personality up, and then do these things for you with my own expenses, my time, my internet data, my electricity, my whole time I should have used for other things, and then I'll not get only half of, my hard work. So it doesn't really make sense. So in a nutshell, these things are quite tedious to do, but it's worth it. You've been through my videos, you've seen how much I earn. I mean, obviously, we're talking about 6-7 figures depending on how big you're willing to put into it and the amount of time you're willing to put into it. So it's something that is worth it. But just do know that you would have to make a whole lot of configuration in order to get a good amount of earning. So user agents and your screen resolution. If you're using an iPhone, you have to confirm what user agents you have to confirm what screen resolution that iPhone is. So now let's talk about the second one, skip button. So I'm just going to explain this to you a bit. If you're not a software programmer, what I'm saying right now might be gibberish to you, but if you're somebody who actually codes, then it makes perfect sense. So the way Google works, or the way website works, is you can do what we call a trigger. I can create a code on my website that will automatically click on something using JavaScript. So I could say something like so and so something, click. Now funny enough, what I just said is what everybody does. Everybody creates a JavaScript code that will click on an advertisement. That is the worst mistake you can ever make, and that is because Google is able to detect a custom triggered or a JavaScript triggered event and a real interaction. Now this is my phone, right? If I click on this an advertisement here on my mobile phone, it is not the same thing as when a code that is on the website triggers that particular click. Now one code will show that the origin was from the JavaScript code, the other one will say the origin was from the user interface. So most people use what we call a JavaScript trigger code, and that is perfectly why they have issues. Now this whole personality metadata are simply what we need to get started subtly at this phase. As time goes on, I'll introduce you to how to use MongoDB, which is a database to store your activities. So for instance, we have what we call a target for the day. You can set a target. Like me myself, I set my targets ahead like of the month. So let's say this is October, this is 1st of October. I'll set a target throughout this 1st of October on how much clicks it's going to be making, how much views it's going to be making. I'll configure all these things and I'll keep them, and it starts running. So while October has already been settled out, even before October, I'll start working for November. So it takes a whole lot of time for you to start planning, but it's definitely worth it. Now I would always advise anyone who cares to listen that this is something that is worth it. Do not go for shortcuts. There are a lot of people who will promise to give you traffic, you pay less, but why let people do things when they can't do it as good as you are? There is nobody will actually do something better than you. So you're the best person who will do something the best way. So I wouldn't advise you to go over to those websites that promises you traffic or buy traffic from third party. Those third party people, they actually sell you mass traffic. So the same traffic they're giving to you, they're giving it to lots of other people, and they don't even care if your Adsense account that you've been nurturing for years get banned. I mean, it's nothing to them. So it's basically your own cup of tea. So make sure you take out time to do this for yourself and do it well. At the end of the whole day, you're going to be making more money, you're going to have your Adsense account being safe, and you will still understand the concept of what you're doing versus giving somebody to just run it and you don't know if they're doing it properly and or if they could get you banned. So I've explained what the metadata are. On the next section, I would have to start explaining what lifespan does, what click habit does, what the start life does. So this is simply just introduction to personality the next introduction to personality, we're gonna have like three personality discussions before we now finally start molding our bots. It's nice for you to know each and every single thing they do and why we're doing it, so you don't skip it. For instance, telling you about the viewport and how Google validates your viewport from user agent will let you know that you cannot go and use a desktop or an iPad resolution for an iPhone or a small Samsung. So now, if you don't really know or watch these explanations, you could make little mistakes on the configuration. And the funny thing is, if you make a very faint error, you could get your Adsense account banned. So it's nice for you to go through the videos. Like if you're on the website to sign up for the course, then I will also tell you should ask questions whenever you don't understand anything. There will always be a live agent to guide you through Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. So till next time, let's head over to the phase 2 and let me walk you through on what lifespan is, and then we'll move over to other sections before we start modifying the bots. I'm stopping this video now.